maybe. Yeah. I hear you're gonna have a meeting with the owner, that maybe that would be something to bring up then, just you can explain that.
Yeah.
Okay, 30 seconds, everybody.
I'm
20 now.
ready.
Are you ready? Everybody ready?
No, wait.
Thank you. You really?
Oh. Time out. Stop.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is Monday, July the 23rd, 2018, 5:30 PM. And we are in the City Hall Council chambers. And roll call, Patty.
Cyphers.
Present.
Hawkins.
Present.
Hassick.
Here.
Peters.
Here.
Zarley.
Here.
It's been determined that we have a quorum, and we will now do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. First item on the agenda is to approve tonight's agenda, and so is there a motion, please, to approve as presented in your packet?
So moved.
Second.
Motion offered by Peters and second by Hassick. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. First item is 6.1 minutes of our regular meeting from July 9th, and those minutes were in your packet. Is there please a motion to approve the minutes from our last
Move
meeting,
to
July
approve.
9th? Motion offered by Zarling
Second.
and second by Cyphers. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next one is 7.1, and it's Brian Lynn. And we are, if I have permission of the council, we're going to wait until the end of the meeting to give him a chance to show up if he can. As Mike had stated, he works at a job that doesn't always have set hours, and so he's going to try to make it. So if he's not here right now, we'd like to move it on. Okay with everybody?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Next item is 11.1, to June 30th, 2018 investment report, and Mike.
Attached, you have the June 30th, 2018 annual investment report showing investments held by the city. Total interest during the period was $213,876.79. Full broker report is available, should you choose to look
Okay.
at it.
Any questions for Mike? Anyone? Thank you. 13.1, event permit for Cedar Creek Open Disc Golf Tournament, and Mike.
This is the 12th annual Cedar Creek Park Disc Golf Tournament. It will take place August 17th through Sunday, August 19th. And this event will have temporary overnight camping with campers. They'll get special permits for that, so staff recommends approval. They've done it for the last few years with camping, and we haven't had any problems. As most people may or may not know, primitive camping's allowed at Cedar Creek Park year-round. But
Okay.
this will allow campers to be there.
Okay. Is there
Just
mo-
out of curiosity, where do they park them? Do they just park them in the lot? or
In
do
that
they-
gravel area,
Yeah, They don't have that many.
yeah, I don't think there's
Okay.
very many there.
Thank you.
Vendors primarily.
Is there a motion, please, to approve the event permit for Cedar Creek Disc Golf Association Tournament and camping at Cedar Creek Park for
So
August
moved.
17th through the 19th, 2018, and the motion was made by Hassick.
Second.
Second by Peters. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. 13.2, event permit for movie in the park. Mike.
American Family Insurance and True Value are planning to have a movie in the park on Saturday, August 25th at Sylvania, between 8 PM and 11 PM. All the entire event's free. Staff recommends approval.
Is there a motion, please, to approve an event permit for American Family Insurance and True Value to provide a movie in the park on August the 25th, 2018?
So moved.
Motion offered by Cyphers,
Second.
second by Hassick. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. 13.3, fireworks display permit for hairball concert at the Martin County Fair, Mike.
Tracy Frink with Hairball Productions applying for a permit. They use pyrotechnics with their show, and so they need a fireworks permit. They do this every year. Staff recommends approval.
Is Is there a motion, please, to approve a permit application for the August 16th, 2018 performance of Hairball at the Martin County Fair?
So moved.
Motion offered by Peters
Second.
There we go.
and second by Cyphers. Is there any further discussion?
Question, I don't see any insurance information.
It says liability has been.
I'm sorry, I just didn't go through that. Go ahead, Patty.
They have provided insurance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Is there any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. 13.4, solicitor's license for Alice Deuce with Southwestern Advantage. Mike.
Southwestern Advantage, it will be going door to door to sell educational books and online subscriptions. They've paid their $150 transient merchants permit, and a police investigation has been conducted and has been approved. Staff recommends approval.
Is there a motion, please, to approve the application for a solicitor's license submitted by Alice with Southwestern Advantage?
So moved.
Motion offered by Peters
Second.
and second by Zarling. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. 15.1, goose hunting. Mike.
Well, we've had goose hunting allowed in our city limits since 1998. At that time, when we passed or gave the city administrator the approval to issue goose hunting permits, we were supposed to revisit it every 2 years. Well, from 2000 to 2014, we didn't have it reapproved every 2 years. So we did in 2014 and 16, so it's 2018. Staff certainly recommends we continue goose hunting in our city limits. Now, it is on agriculturally zoned property. We require that each hunter have permission in writing from the property owner and that they come into City Hall and get a goose hunting permit. It's only for goose hunting. It doesn't include any other waterfowl or pheasants. We haven't had any problems with it. I've talked to both the police chief, the sheriff, and the conservation officer, and all of them said the program works pretty well, so. And it does kind of keep nuisance geese out of our community.
Okay. Is there a motion, please, to approve goose hunting in the city limits of Fairmont on private land zoned egg transition during goose hunting season as set by the state of Minnesota?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
offered by Hassick and second by Zarling. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. 15.2, debt policy. Mike.
Back in June, we held a work session to talk about our a new debt policy and a tool, a debt modeling tool to be used to help us make better fiscal decisions about borrowing money. Attached is debt policy that city staff prepared along with the assistance of Northland Securities. We went over this at our council work session, and basically these are our procedures and policy that we'll adhere to when we borrow money. So staff recommends approving this debt policy.
Is there, please, a motion to approve the debt management policy as presented?
So moved.
Motion offered by Peters
Second.
and second by Hawkins. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. 15.3, comprehensive land use plan update, and we have Megan Boak with us tonight. And Megan is our planner code enforcement technician, and welcome, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Foster and Council, for allowing me the opportunity to come here tonight and address you regarding the comp plan update process that we've been tackling over the past couple months. In mid-April, I drafted and distributed an RFP to 9 different planning firms seeking proposals to assist in the update of our comprehensive land use plan. We received 5 really impressive proposals, and a subcommittee of the Planning Commission narrowed those 5 proposals down to 3. WSB and Associates, Landform, and Bolton and Mink all presented their ideas for comprehensive planning to the full Planning Commission on July 10th. Several members of the Planning Commission were impressed with WSB and Associates' recent work with a community of similar size and characteristics to Fairmont. In addition, the board felt that their approach to economic development would create a more functional plan. City Administrator Humpel and myself recently met with the 2 project leads that we'll be working with, Jim Gromberg and Molly Patterson-Lundberg. They'll help guide us through the process. We discussed the project scope and scheduled our kickoff meeting. We're confident that they have the skills and expertise necessary to help craft a plan that will be beneficial to all of Fairmont. Additionally, as we move forward with this process, we'll be seeking a number of community members, including members of the council, to be part of a steering committee that will help WSB and staff landscape a comprehensive plan for Fairmont that is easy to understand and well-used over the next 10 to 20 years. So if you have interest in that committee, or if you know someone that has interest in that committee, please let me know. Lastly, I'm here to request your approval to contract with WSB and Associate for the update of the comprehensive land use plan at a base price of $55,674. And that includes our kickoff meeting, which has been scheduled for August 29th at 6:30. It's a Wednesday night, and we plan to have it here in the council chambers. It also includes 4 steering committee meetings that will take place over the next probably 12 to 18 months. 2 pop-up events or booths. One could be held as early as November during the Fairmont Glows Parade. Social Pinpoint, which is an online engagement tool for people who are less likely to attend those steering committee meetings or pop-up events. That way they're still able to submit their thoughts on the plan electronically. And lastly, a story map, which combines authoritative mapping with text and images to create an easy to read and understand final document. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
I had a question during the meeting. First of all, I thought it was a great meeting. I thought the input from the members of the Planning Commission was really good. They had some questions at first, but it kind of came together really good. But one question that came up was there was a few of the commission members that were as excited as they were about Molly Patterson-Lundberg. They weren't very impressed with this Jim guy. Is that wasn't part of the motion that he not be involved, was it, or?
Well, I don't think it was a part of the motion that he not be
I couldn't
involved.
remember for sure, but I know there's strong feelings about that, and I didn't know if that was, if that was addressed there.
I think that our presentations were, as you know, Tom, you were there, they were given a chance to speak for like 15 or 20 minutes, and to present a 60-page document, what this will probably be in 15 minutes, is kind of hard to do. That being said, I mean, I don't know if that.
Yeah, no, I guess I didn't pick that up. I didn't have the same
Yeah.
feelings that they did, but there was a couple members that felt strongly that way, and so I just didn't know if they were addressing it, so I didn't know if that was, I just wanted to bring that up, because a couple of them felt pretty strongly about it.
Oh, it's staff goal to, in processes like this, to adequately manage our consultants, and if we feel there's not a fit with an individual, we can certainly talk to
Right.
the management company of WSB and make some adjustments, but I think he's less than 12% of their time
Right.
as a
It was
person
12%
in the
field,
study.
yeah.
He's kind of the lead in their sales and business development team, so I think Molly will be driving
Yeah, she was one that impressed everybody,
she's their, master planner and that's
right. Good, thank you, appreciate that.
Megan, can you just give everyone an overview of what will be the requirements of this committee? What are they going to be looking at in a comprehensive land use plan?
Yeah, so I should have defined what a comprehensive land use plan is, because I actually got asked that before the meeting started. So it's going to be a document that becomes a policy that guides Fairmont staff, your leadership here, how the community grows or changes, develops, how we implement infrastructure development policies, or even funding policies. So I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
You did,
I'm not sure.
like, it's going to be, if it's my understanding, I was on one of these a long time
Oh,
ago.
right, so, it's a 12 or so month process,
Yep.
and the committee would be required to attend those steering committees, or they would be asked to be a part of those steering committees. Not everyone maybe will be able to attend each meeting, but that would be the
Right.
hope.
Okay.
And then they will be involved in kind of putting the vision out there, Fairmont's vision, or, implementing the goals, or, just kind of setting the tone for how that plan is developed.
Right, like in industry zoning and residential, it
Yeah,
kind of
in
like
the
that kind of.
RFP, we asked them to touch on housing, downtown revitalization,
right.
economic development, active living, I don't know, there was more, but I can't think of them. right
Thank
off
you,
the top of my head.
that helps a lot. For people that don't know what it's about and maybe would have an interest in being on there, being you're looking for some community members to be part of that.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd just like to say too that I'm thankful that, you decided to look at bringing in some outside help, some fresh eyes to the community, and I think it's a good idea. I think it's, just my opinion, worth the investment to bring in somebody who are just pros at this and give us a help to go forward. So I think it's a great, good move.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Megan at this time? If not, is there please a motion to approve contract with WSB and Associates for the update of Fairmont's comprehensive land use plan at a base price of $55,674?
So move.
Motion offered by Hawkins
Second?
and second by Cyphers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Megan. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Megan. 15.4, award contract for the 2018-A improvement project. And Troy, we're going to you this time.
Evening, Mayor and Council. We opened bids for the Canyon Drive Storm Sewer Improvement Project last week. The bids were tabulated. Holtmeyer Construction came in as the low bidder at $888,000. Staff is recommending we award the contract to them to proceed with those storm sewer improvements in the Canyon Drive, Kings Road neighborhood.
Okay. Is there a motion, please, to adopt Resolution 2018-19 as presented?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
offered by Peters and second by Zarling. Is there any further discussion? My only question is, Troy, how did it come in to what you thought it was going to be?
It was slightly over the engineer's estimate. Engineer's estimate was $813,000.
And what was the?
$888,000 was the low bid, so.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Troy? This is a roll call vote, please, Patty.
Peters,
Yes.
Zarling,
Yes.
Cyphers,
Yes.
Hasek,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes.
The resolution passed. 15.5, advertise for bids for 2018-B Cedar Creek Park Trail. And Troy.
The plans and specs are ready for the Cedar Creek Park Trail extension. It's approximately 3,200 feet of trail, starting at the existing dead end on the north and looping down through the woods and back around to the south. We propose a bid opening of August 9th. Staff is recommending moving forward with advertising that project for the bid opening on August 9th.
Is there a motion, please, to adopt Resolution 2018-20 approving advertising for the 2018-B construction project?
So move.
Motion offered by Hawkins
Second?
and second by Cyphers. Is there any further discussion?
What's the guesstimate?
Yeah,
Where
that
where
was
did we
the
end up with?
I believe our estimated construction as of right now is 360,000, I believe. That's total with engineering fees as well. We got a $150,000 grant from the DNR for that construction.
I've had constituents, again, hoping we don't do this, the trail to nowhere. In
Yeah.
deference that we need trails, and I don't disagree with that at all. Some of my Ward 1 people are saying this sure looks like a waste of money when we could cross the creek for a fraction. I'm
Just saying.
just saying.
Troy, you're looking at the work being done, started in 2018?
The specs are set up to start this fall with tree removal and grading, and then likely paving in the spring of 2019.
Okay,
Let
thank you.
everything settle.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Troy at this time?
How does this match up with like the disc golf course and stuff?
This is a different area. This is further north than where the disc golf is currently set up.
Any other questions for Troy? Hearing none, this is also a roll call vote, please, Patty.
Zarling,
Yes.
Cyphers,
Yes.
Hassick,
No.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Peters.
No.
The resolution did pass, 3-2. Thank you, everyone. 15.6, task order number 8 for KLJ for professional services at the airport. And Troy.
We're planning some additional improvements to the infrastructure at the airport. This specific task order with KLJ is for surface rehabilitation on the 2 runways as well as the apron taxiway. This would be crack filling and some seal coating on those. Both of those all of those areas were resurfaced in the last 8 years or so. So this is kind of a preventative maintenance step to get our runways up to standards that the state requires. It also clears, getting this work done, opens us up to move forward with the hangar expansion in 2020 and 2021.
Okay,
So we're looking to approve the task order with KLJ for $37,700 to complete the engineering design services for that project.
is there a motion, please, to approve the mayor to sign task force number 8 with KLJ for professional services at the airport?
So moved.
Motion offered by Peters and second by Hawkins. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. 15.7, award contract for 2018-C improvement project. And Troy, this one's yours too.
We also opened bids for the sanitary sewer lining project last week. Received actually quite a number of bids, which was good to see. HydroClean, located in Des Moines, Iowa, was a low bidder at $139,000, Engineer's estimate was $150,000, so pretty pleased with the results of this bid and are asking the council to approve HydroClean for this project.
Okay, is there a motion, please, to adopt resolution 2018-21 as presented?
So moved.
Motion offered by Zarling.
Second.
And second by Hassick. Is there any further discussion?
Question, and it's not really much to do, but such a wide disparity, is that, I mean, isn't that kind of odd?
I think it has to do with the type of work. There's some pretty big contractors in here that target a lot bigger projects than ours. I think the 3 low bids are ones that we would have expected to be pretty competitive, and the other 3 are kind of those bigger contractors that usually are hitting 20, 30, 40,000, 50,000 feet of pipe, and so I think they have a little different price margin when they're bidding some of these smaller projects, and mobilization is how I would answer that question.
Have we done business with HydroClean before?
They've done it this will be the 3rd year that they've done it for us.
And you've been very pleased?
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions for Troy? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Patty.
Cyphers,
Yes.
Hassick,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Zarling.
Yes.
Resolution passed. 16.1, accounts payable. Mike?
You have the bills in front of you for July. I just asked for a motion to approve the bills.
Is there a motion, please, to approve payment of the July 2018 bills as presented in your packet?
So moved.
Motion offered by Peters
Second.
and second by Zarling. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We'll now move on to our open discussion, and it's too bad Brian wasn't able to make it, but Mike will read his comments that he wanted to share with the community and with the council.
My name is Brian Lynn. I reside on Shore Acres Drive in Fairmont, Minnesota. More specifically, I live in a single-family residential district in a single-family home. Thank you for taking time to hear me or have my grievance read in my absence. I have a complaint against the Channel Inn in their live music events. The first complaint I had was about 3 years ago around midnight. On what I can only hope was a karaoke night, I heard an awful rendition of puddles of mud and an expletive from the Channel's patio coming through the walls of my house a block away. I spoke with my city council representative, and he explained the noise ordinance does not apply to businesses that have live music because they have an understanding with the city and somehow regulate themselves. I let it go because the Channel Inn only had events about once or twice a month during the summer. Year over year, the music has gotten more and more frequent. I've called in noise complaints to the police department, but the music does not stop. This year, I spoke with the mayor after the channel began having music every Friday and Saturday night. Over the 4th of July, they had live events outside on both Fridays and Saturdays around the holiday, and also on a Tuesday night until 11 o'clock. After the music stops, there is about an hour of loud motorcycle and loud truck traffic going up and down the street as the crowd disperses. The channel barely has enough parking to handle the normal weekend, but on live event nights, the parking overflows up the residential streets. Last year, it was so crowded one night that someone parked in front of my driveway and blocked both of our cars in such a way that we couldn't leave our house. The channel also resides in the same residential single-family zone as I, yet somehow the noise ordinance does not apply. The city says if there is a noise complaint for a residential home, a police officer shows up, stays in his car, and listens and ascertains the volume, whether it's loud enough to warrant a warning or a fine. I live a block away from the channel, and I cannot sleep until the music stops. I have the windows shut, the AC on, and a TV on, and the music still pounds away. The week of the 4th, in a period of 9 days, I lost sleep on 5 nights solely because the Channel Inn was having live music. I often have to work on call, and my employment does not always allow for the weekends off or the holidays, and I need sleep to maintain functional and a healthy lifestyle. The following is the current active city code. It shall be unlawful for a person to make, continue, or cause to be made or continued any loud, unnecessary, unusual noise, or any noise which either annoys, disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, peace, or safety of others within the city limits. It is safe to say I'm annoyed with the noise in general and also with the increasing frequency. It is easy to argue it endangers my comfort and repose. Regular sleep is vitally important to health. I do not understand how this code does not apply to the business residing in the city limits, but I definitely do not understand how it does not apply to a bar located in a single-family residential zone. The city code goes on to define exactly what is considered to be unlawful noise. In bullet 7, it deems illegal the use, operation, or permitting the playing, use, or operation of any radio, receiving set, musical instrument, phonograph, or other machine or device for the production or reproduction of sound in such a manner to disturb the peace, quiet, and comfort of the neighboring inhabitants, or at any time at a louder volume than necessary for convenient hearing for the person or persons who are in the room, vehicle, or chamber in which such machine or device is operated and who are voluntarily listening thereto. In a way, one could argue if the city council permits the Channel Inn to have live events that disturb my peace, quiet, and comfort, that the city is in violation of its own code. It says in black and white that the act of permitting the playing of live music that disturbs the community is a violation. I believe the current code does not allow for live music events this close to my residence. I believe that the Channel Inn cannot safely or logistically handle the traffic and noise that accompany live events, as they have no overflow parking and there is nothing on their patio to absorb or deflect the noise. They are a bar and a restaurant, not a concert venue. For the reference or an alternative solution, Mankato is known as a college party town, and in their city code in Chapter 4, Section 6, it is a separate liquor application for bars with non-enclosed patios that serve alcohol. It seems ironic I could move to a larger college town to get a reprieve from live music. Basically, he's saying that in Mankato, live music isn't allowed on patios at bars and restaurants. At least if the channel music was indoors, it would be muffled enough less people would be affected by their events. I have nothing against partying, but I do want to be, but I don't want to be forced to participate in a party every Friday and Saturday night without recourse, but to be up all night until it stops. I'm aware there is two sides to every coin. I also understand the channel predates me living in Fairmont as well as my birth year. I also understand increased bar sales and party traffic increased revenues for the city. If I am alone in my complaint and the live music is tolerated and permissible from the community at large, just let me know and I can take the steps to find a community that values peace, quiet, repose, and health for its members. Thanks again for your time. Brian Lynn.
Yes. Mike and I met with him, and he feels very strongly about this topic. And so we just told him that his next move was to bring it to the council, and the council could make a decision on if we want to direct staff to look into it more.
Well, from what we know, is he right? I mean, does the statute say that? So are they in violation or?
Well,
I think so.
well, there is some debate. I think it's a little vague, and I'll point out a couple things. In our paragraph 7, when it describes that noise leaving a chamber, a vehicle, or a house. So it's not specific to being outside or a patio. And then in 8, when it talks about the production, reproduction of sound, excuse me, it specifically states the sound which is cast upon the public streets for the purpose of commercial advertising or attracting the attention of the public to any building or structure. So that would be loud music saying, come down here. Or loud noise or advertising, and this isn't advertising. So I think one could argue our code doesn't address outside live entertainment. And so, no, I don't believe we're violating our ordinance. We've had this conversation as staff and with other council, and we've just pretty much have let it go without adjusting our code or making it more specific. Former Mayor Quering and I did meet with several of the bar and restaurant owners here in Fairmont that have music, and we discussed, you're open till 1, but we don't think it's appropriate to necessarily play music till 1 o'clock. So they all agreed to 11:30. When the police are called, an officer does respond and goes in and makes contact with the owner of the establishment. They ask about how long will the music be playing, and in some cases, they just, be mindful your neighbors are concerned. We haven't had what I would consider a lot of complaints. The chief looked up for me today from January 1st, 2013 to today's date, we've had 9 calls to the channel in. 4 of them were by Mr. Lynn.
So 9 just this year, you're saying?
No, from January 2013.
Oh, 13, okay, I'm sorry.
So, staff has not looked at this as being a major problem where we would bring a code change forward. Here again, what we hear is a number of people in the community, we want more activities around our lakes, more entertainment, more of this sort of thing. So it's kind of a catch-22. We try, the parking, I had one complaint last year, and it wasn't a complaint about necessarily parking on the street, but a number of people parked in the gravel parking lot in Gomsrud Park. And there was a rumor that the park closed at 11 and everybody received a ticket. Well, that wasn't true at all, and I checked it out with the chief. So there is overflow parking at the park. I live on Shore Acres. You know, there are some cars that park on the street and come up the street, but that's not a lot different than a Sunday afternoon at between 5 and 7:30 when it's a nice Sunday afternoon and that patio, it's just a crowded restaurant and without loud music. You know, Fairmont was built around its lakes and 90% of it is built out with residential zones, and we have very little commercial property for this type of activity. This is a legal, non-conforming use in a residential area. You know, I would take other questions, but I don't know.
Well, I think that we're going to have to, and we all know, well, we all don't know, but those of us that live in there, they're not abiding by the 11:30 handshake agreement. And I think that if that continues, we better address it by statute. I mean, I feel for the folks that, you know, when it goes past, I mean, 11:30 is an arbitrary number that everybody could live with, supposedly. But if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, I think we probably need to address it.
Well, I think I don't know if what he said about Mankato is true or not, but I think we should see what other towns are doing and see what's reasonable. I mean, I'd be okay if, you know, I think it's reasonableness to me would be make it 10 o'clock on 11:30, you know, for loud music, you know, in a neighborhood like that. I mean, you know, some would probably say 9, but I'd consider make it 10 o'clock. If it's, you know, certain evenings you start at 6, 7 o'clock and have outdoor music till 10. I mean, you know.
And I'm just gonna tell you what the argument is. The money starts coming in later. And that's what you're gonna hear. Now, do we want business? Yes, we do, as Mike alluded to. I completely agree with that. And that's when the money starts flowing, the income.
Right, I think younger kids tend to go out at that 9 or 9:30 time where tend to go out at 6:30 or 7 and in bed by 9:30. But I do, and that's what the establishment owners will tell us, that, you know, things just really start getting going at 9. Minnesota's a little different than a lot of states in that our bars are really restaurants. So that restaurant crowd is leaving at 8:30 and a different crowd's coming in. And so I think there's a little bit of music going on at that 8:30, the kind of the tail end of supper, but the crowd changes over. And
Yeah, and I guess I can agree with that too. Personally, I don't have a problem. I get more affected by the races on Fridays or Saturday nights.
Exactly.
That was
But-
gonna,
Yes. You go ahead.
no,
No, so my point is, I think we should at least owe it to the community, because, you know, even though there aren't a lot of complaints, Fairmont's one of those towns that, you know, people won't like to complain if they don't have to, so you'll get your vocal people that will complain. So there's probably more people out there concerned than this Brian. I think we should at least look into what other communities like ours what do they do? And we should at least get a report and see what others do. You know, I'd like to request that you do that and find out in similar situations with outdoor music, what do other communities do?
Have you
We
done,
can
Especially-
choose to leave it the same even if
Have you
we're the
done
only
that already?
outlier, but I'd just like to know.
like about someone that's got lakes? I think, you know, that's something that sets us apart from what most communities have, and most communities aren't built around 5 lakes. And, but, yeah, I mean, Libby, do you have anything, any comments that you'd like to, suggestions on anything?
Well, it's, you know, it's a
You might-
it's a balancing act. It's a generational thing.
Yes.
You know, it's like any other community issue like this. It's hard to balance what everybody wants. You can't make everybody happy, so.
Right. Chief, you have any comments that you'd like to, anything that you'd like to share with us?
For the most part, like I say, when we are dispatched to a noise disturbance, we do go down and investigate it, so we do make record and documentation of it. For the most part, when we speak to the employees that are there, they're very cooperative, they understand, they usually give us time that they're looking to be done with everything. If it's reasonable within, the time that we've been called there, it continues. One of the things when looking at the ordinance, we've got a issue with who's gonna be issued the citation. It doesn't specify if it's gonna be the band, the manager, the business. There's some of that clarity that needs to be taken care of in that. So it's definitely worth taking a look at again,
Okay.
just from that standpoint as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
I think especially being they're not adhering to the 11:30, if they're not, if you have that handshake agreement and then that's not being adhered to, then maybe we should take a look at it.
Well, I haven't personally went down there with a stopwatch. I think some of it's anecdotal, but not.
Anecdotal.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. But, so I don't know that to be 100% true. Is it once or is it twice or is it, I can't hear it.
It has happened. I can testify to that personally. I cannot testify to how many, but I
Okay.
know it has happened.
I don't have a strong desire to change it if it does need to be changed, but I would like to know what other communities, I think it's a good idea, check with lakeside communities, not lakeside communities, what's kind of the general practice out there for towns our size that deal with that? What do they do? I'd just like to know. And even if we're an outlier, we don't have to change it either. I'd just like to know if we're an outlier, or if we're not, or,
Well, I don't wanna kibosh it. I mean, it's
Right.
commerce again, and
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
brings people and it brings money and blah, blah, and it's all, it's all good. But
Yeah, I
again,
agree.
I'd just
like to know.
Yeah, I
like to
hear
know.
you. No, I get that. I'm thinking, I think we all thought 11:30 might have been just a little late. But then on the other hand, that's when the money, that's when the change is rolling in, so.
Exactly.
It is tough. I
The catch-22,
certainly
yeah.
Yeah,
concur with that. It's just not-
exactly. Yep.
And I'll agree that I think it's late, but I'm old, so,
Well,
It
no,
makes a difference.
yeah, right.
Well,
So, I'll
It does make a
they
difference.
gotta be pretty darn
You're not as old as
good
me.
for me to stay till 11:30.
Right.
Once in a while, they're really good, and I do.
Yep, exactly. Okay. Any other comments by anybody?
I guess one comment would be that there must be a number of people that want to attend because
Right.
they do have
Right.
good crowds and they are attracting their customers. So I think it's something that the community is wanting and asking its businesses for. And so.
They wouldn't have it if there wasn't a good response to it. They,
Well, and
and,
the channel in it's only because of the new bridge, does it make it a lot easier for them to do that? That's probably why it's increased there. They wouldn't have been able to do that with that much room and, with their previous setup, so that made it for a nice deal for them, which has been a great benefit for them and the city, so I
Yep.
don't disagree with that.
okay. Okay, you got direction that you need?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Okay, 17. Do you have anything under 17? Thank you. Anybody else?
I do have a question. Maybe you can comment on roads and when patching's gonna happen, that sort of thing. I had quite a few questions in that regard.
I'll let Troy answer that since how he administers that part of it.
The crews have been out doing patching on water and sewer digs for the last few weeks. There's been about 15 patches, either private or city water breaks that have been done. They started crack filling today. My latest report is that the crack filling machine broke down, so they're actually probably gonna start doing some potholes tomorrow. Otherwise, the plan was to hit the potholes pretty good next week. So that's my update on that.
Thank you very much.
I think we have a lot of potholes.
Yeah, we do. We do. Thank you.
It was a difficult winter for snow plowing.
I suppose that, because I don't remember this last year, hearing it this bad. It was just, been here.
Generally speaking, it doesn't get this late in the season.
And what else, the weather is mainly why it's so late, Troy?
Yeah, the month of June was
Okay,
a lot
was it
of
because it was so wet?
cleanup and, yep.
Yep, okay.
Our crews go out and clean up storm catch basins and after every rain event, the street crews are out cleaning those up, and it detracts from other street patching opportunities.
Thank you.
You know, I don't even care if it's a temporary patch, as long as gets us by a little longer or something, but,
Right.
something needs to be done.
Yep. Get it. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have anything else that they'd like to bring up? All I have is that our next Saturday with the city is going to be on August 18th, and it's going to be at Ward 2 from 10 to 11 at Gomsrud Park Shelter House. And Lindsay Price is going to be who is our Economic Development Coordinator, is going to lead the discussion for a short time, and then it will be open. You do not have to just be a member of Ward 2. You can be a member throughout the city to attend, and we would really like to see you there. And so, anybody else have anything? Hearing none, is there please a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion offered by Zarling
Second.
and second by Peters. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried, and the meeting is adjourned.
John Shoe was in Ward 1.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It's Ward 1.